Hey everyone! Today we're going to be starting our adventure in surviving in the Naruto world for 100 Minecraft days. This video took such a long time to make, especially with all the roleplay-like elements, so if you like what you see, please think about subscribing and liking the video. It would be greatly appreciated. I also plan on uploading more of these and already have plenty more anime Minecraft videos on my channel if you're interested, by the way. Now let's go ahead and begin. Day 1. After traveling for multiple days without any memory of who I am or what I was doing, I stumbled upon the village hidden in the leaves. Almost as soon as I arrived, a friendly young ninja named Waddle said he would help me remember who I was. Wanting to make the leaf my home for the time being, Waddle and I gathered materials in order to make a little house for me. On the way to pick a spot for me to settle down, I saw him performing amazing acts through something called chakra? It made me interested in being a ninja like him. We built my home, and I was very happy, but also very tired, so I rested up. On day 2, Waddle decided to show me around the village and wanted me to meet the village's leader, the Hokage. Running through the village, I saw many amazing structures and nice looking people. At the Hokage's hut, Waddle told me that his dream is to become the Hokage, and when he described what that role meant, it inspired me to greatly want to help this amazing community as much as I could while I was living in it. I met the third Hokage, who welcomed me to the village and assured me that my time here would be a pleasant experience. While leaving, I caught a glimpse at the heads of the previous Hokages etched on the mountain looming over the village. So Waddle took me to have a closer look. I was amazed by what I saw. Day 3, Waddle took me to his favorite local ramen shop, but when we got there, the owner told us that he ran out of chicken and tasked us with getting some. His daughter was very nice. That night, we went out and got our hands on some chicken, but once my sword broke during the hunt and we were attacked by bandits deep in the forest, I realized just how powerless I really am in this world of ninjas and chakra. Returning back to my house, I found a man who wasn't too happy that I settled down in the plot of land that I had chosen. By the time night rolled around, he had turned my house into a nightclub. Waddle took me back to his place and showed me some more of his ninja skills. His aim was kinda bad, but when he let me try, I was somehow able to hit a perfect shot on my first go. He said I was a natural. Day 5. After the craziness from the day before, we almost forgot to give the Ichiraku ramen guy his chicken. Once we gave it to him, he seemed very happy. After completing that mission, Waddle thought it was time to meet his team. Villager Sensei and Debebruto Let's go were their names, and Waddle wanted me to be their temporary 4th member. To prove I could rise up to the task, Debebruto challenged me to a fight, and I was able to somehow hold my own. Once Debebruto took it up a notch though, Waddle intervened. I proved my worth though, and Villager Sensei was impressed and theorized that I must have been a skilled fighter before I lost my memory. He said I could join them for their upcoming mission. While on the mission on day 6, we were attacked by a rogue ninja named Zabuza and his ally, Haku. The two were very powerful, and Villager Sensei said that this is because Zabuza is one of the great 7 swordsmen of the mist. We managed to defeat Zabuza, and then followed up by defeating Haku. My showing in this fight on the bridge impressed Villager Sensei so much that he wanted me to officially join the team and recommended that Waddle, Debebruto, and I take the Chunin exams. That night, I went back to Waddle's place and he offered to let me live with him and train me in the way of chakra, as long as I teach him how to make the amazing kunai throws that I don't really know how to do. It just kinda comes naturally. But I agreed, and we got to work. Day 7. In order to excel in the upcoming Chunin exams, Waddle let me know that I had much to learn. He created a training schedule that involved learning 1 chakra enhancement and 1 jutsu every day. On this first day of training, I learned how to use chakra concentration to walk on water, and how to shoot condensed water bullets as weapons. Day 8 rolled around, and I learned how to utilize chakra to enhance my physical movements in short but powerful bursts, allowing my body to leap much higher and longer distances than I was able to in the past. He also taught me the clone jutsu. He said that I should make it my signature ability and spam it in every fight that I get into, but I said that that would be really dumb. On day 9, Waddle took me to an abandoned house, and there I learned how to use the fireball jutsu. We used the house as our canvas for practicing, but once we began, it became apparent that this place wasn't abandoned at all. We ran away as fast as we could, and it's through that experience that I learned how to enhance my body's speed using chakra to amplify my movements. I ended up training by myself on day 10 now that Waddle taught me the basics. As I swung my executioner's blade around that I got from Zabuza, I took note of the wind I was slicing. It was in that moment that I considered the wind as a potential weapon, and from there, I created a new jutsu, the Air Puff Jutsu. Later on this day, a person from the village asked for my assistance in getting their pet off of the roof, and once again, the wind came to mind. I thought about using it to propel myself up higher than I could have ever gone before, and that's how I made my Tailwind Updraft Jutsu. It was time for the tuning exams on day 11. My team and I raced for the entrance of the Forest of Death, and our adventure began. Once inside, we were met with a dark and dreary area and fought a handful of teams, all in the search for a scroll to complete the challenge. In the end of the phase, we had an Earth Scroll and a Heaven Scroll, so we passed. The next day, the second phase of the tuning exams was even rougher than the last one. It was made up of all the contestants that had made it as far as we had. By the end, our team was the only one that had kept all 3 of its members, so during the final fight, they decided to make it a 3-on-3 matchup. We fought terrifyingly strong threats like Neji Hyuga and Gaara of the Sand. Ino was there too for some reason. And after a hard-fought battle, Waddle, Baberuto, and I became Chunins. The night of day 13 was a little strange. Rock Lee appeared to me in a dream and began to fight me. He was extremely fast and extremely tough. The strangest part of the dream was what he was saying though. It was as if he wasn't himself. In the end, I did manage to win, but the words he spoke made me wonder if it was more than just a dream. Day 14 started off a little rough. Waddle and I were kicked out of the house for some strange reason. The shinobi who delivered this message told us that it was the Hokage's orders, so we did what we knew we had to do to this abandoned house. We were confused and furious, but knew that first thing was first, and we collected materials to make a new house. Our fury only grew by the next morning, and Waddle took me to an entire abandoned sector of the village. He said that it belonged to a clan who used to live here, but they all got, quote-unquote, bodied by a teenager, whatever that means. We collected resources from the place in order to make our house as great as it could be. Days 16 through 18 involved a lot more resource collection as it continued for the next few days. Each moment that went by, we planned out how we were going to get the Hokage back for his decision. Day 19, we built our house into the night. But as we continued to structure our home, something felt off. Why were we building a house? We were robbed of our home, so wouldn't it make more sense to steal something from the village? On day 20, we decided to take that spot that used to belong to that wiped out clan. It was our new home, and it was much better than anything we could have made off the limited supplies of materials that we had collected from the last few days. Day 21 marked another continued act of revenge on the Hokage. We went to the heads on the mountain, targeted the thirds in particular, and vandalized it to make it look like he was crying blood, had a big green booger, and was drooling. During this whole prank, I utilized my wind manipulation to help me and Waddle stay in the air. On day 22, Waddle said that he had a great idea, but wouldn't tell me what it was. He said that all we had to do was use the transformation jutsu, and when it was time, we would just need to push the third Hokage back a little bit. I trusted that this was going to be the best prank yet, so I went along with it. Little did I know that this would cause the third Hokage to explode as a result of paper bombs Waddle had placed in the area. I ran away in terror with Waddle. On day 23, Waddle and I circled back around and asked a local trash ninja named Iruka about the Hokage. He let us know that the Hokage had died as a result of 2 rogue ninjas that had attacked him. Iruka was too weak and irrelevant to help. I didn't know how to feel, and told Waddle I needed some time to think. That night, I ran into some pervy sage peeping at the bathhouse. He offered to teach me a new jutsu if I helped him out in getting some ladies, so I worked my magic and scored a powerful teacher. Day 24 rolled around, and Waddle assured me that what he did was for the good of the village, and asked me to accompany him to go get some food. I helped him out as much as I could. There's no way Waddle would steer me wrong, right? Day 25, I took the lessons that the pervy sage Jiraiya taught me and applied them to a water balloon. Once it popped, I was ready to test out my new jutsu on some mountain bandits in the area. Now that I was able to utilize this new jutsu, the Rasengan, I realized just how strong I had become. We stumbled upon a crevice that led to a secret base of some sort. We searched through it, and while there were signs that it was recently occupied, most of everything was gone from inside. I discovered that it belonged to someone named Orochimaru, and Waddle began to act strange when I said that name. He wouldn't explain why though. Day 27 was basically a continuation of day 24 in a sense. We hunted down overgrown spiders that dropped string for us so that we could continue our food hunt. This time, our plan was to make fishing rods. Day 28, we spotted a band of rogue ninjas who were clearly holding out a post near the village to swoop in and target unsuspecting members of the Leaf Village. We took them down, and it honestly made me feel a little bit better about Waddle's behavior. He really did seem to care. Day 29 was the day that we were going to head out to fish as early as possible, but before going to the nearby fishing area, Waddle spotted a dog and immediately deemed it his. He named it Lasagna. We took it back to our place, then headed to fish. Fishing with Waddle was very peaceful, but also brought up my anxiety. I couldn't get the image of the Hokage's death out of my head. In the end, we did catch a lot of fish though, and Waddle was still as friendly as ever. Debebruto had asked us to visit his house on day 30, so we stopped by to see what he wanted. We were immediately greeted by his butler and saw women chilling in the jacuzzi. Upstairs, Debebruto asked if he could trust us. He said that he had a lot on his mind and explained that he believes that the Hokage's death is a sign that there needs to be a major change in the village. He explained to us that his dream is to be the Hokage. We woke up to a loud noise outside on day 31. When we rushed out to go see what made it, we ended up finding a container holding a note of some sort. Waddle quickly grabbed it, and when I asked what it said, he just read it quietly to himself. I asked to see it after him, but he ignored me and said that we need to hurry and head to the same bridge where we found Zabuza and Haku. Before I could really even think about anything, Waddle was off, and I followed. At the bridge, a strange man greeted the two of us. It was the Orochimaru guy whose hideout we were in a few days ago. He talked to Waddle as if he knew him and requested that we go to a Jonin conference tomorrow to detonate the room while it was being held, killing everyone inside. Just as he was about to say something about me and who I am, we were interrupted by none other than the third Hokage, who was very much alive. We were shocked to see him, but he told us to stand back, ready to fight the mysterious man, who he revealed was his old student. Orochimaru ended up escaping, and the third Hokage told us that we needed to come to the Jonin conference tomorrow to discuss what had been happening. Day 32. At the Jonin conference, it was revealed that they had been monitoring Orochimaru as well as Waddle and I for some time. Their unfair treatment towards us when they kicked us out of our house was to push us to a point where we would bring them closer to Orochimaru. The third Hokage mentioned that he found out about my memory loss, something Waddle hadn't mentioned when I was first introduced to Hiruzen. Their working theory was that I was somehow connected to this sinister man that was lurking in the shadows. Waddle had been in contact with this dangerous man due to a promise to bring back the boy's family, but we were told that the reanimation jutsu isn't truly what Waddle thought it was. After the talk with the third, Villager Sensei was tasked with guarding us while the final stage of their plan to capture Orochimaru came to fruition. In the morning, we saw Villager Sensei posted up in front of our house. He told us to stay put for the time being. Waddle's dog then started to bark in an unusual way, so we went to check out what the issue was. In the back of our house, a strange man appeared and quickly attacked before we could even realize what was going on. When I awoke following the attack, Waddle and I were stuck in a strange jail cell. We struggled as much as we could, but the area was seemingly siphoning our chakra, so we were too weak to break out. While in the cell, I noticed something even stranger though. There was another me. Or at least something that looked remarkably like me, minus my head, in a glass container. The third Hokage's words echoed in my brain. I thought about how I really must be connected to Orochimaru somehow. Day 34 couldn't have come any sooner. We had spent an entire day in that cell. Orochimaru finally approached us on this day and revealed everything. He was deeply upset that we couldn't do what he asked of us, and was now moving on to the next phase with his assistant, Kabuto. With the other me almost ready to be released, he'll strip away my memories again and have two ultimate weapons of mass destruction. This is where he let me know that I'm actually an experiment that he made that has a rapid rate of learning and an almost bottomless potential under the proper conditions. The man then focused on Waddle and explained how he could have brought his parents back to life. But Waddle shouted that he doesn't want them back if they'll just be husks, bound to Orochimaru's will forever. Just then, Villager Sensei and Debebruto busted into the hideout. They had followed the trail that our skirmish with Kabuto had left behind as quickly as they could. I felt like this battle would determine the fate of the Leaf, so everyone was putting their all into each of their attacks. One after the other, we chipped away at these terrible threats until eventually, Naruto managed to land the final hit, sealing Orochimaru's fate forever.
Let's go!
On day 35, with our victory decided, we reported back to the third Hokage after resting up. He boasted about how proud he was of the two of us. Focusing on Waddle, he explained that he knows how hard losing his parents must be on him, and excused him of all acts of treason as a result of his contribution to defeating Orochimaru. He then told me that the other me didn't make it out of the lab alive, so I'm the last of my kind as far as anyone knows. Something about that was relieving. I somehow felt like I was getting a true fresh start now. I was a true member of the village. We all went back to Naruto's house to hang out in the jacuzzi with some cuties, but they all dipped when they saw Hiruzen's old man skin flaps jiggling in the water. Strangely, Naruto decided not to join us in our fun.
Let's go!
And with that, the Orochimaru saga comes to a close. Comment down below what your favorite part was and any suggestions that you might have for the series. So, as you may have noticed, we haven't made it to 100 days yet. I plan on uploading 2 more parts to this series to complete this epic storyline, and once those are up, I'll put all 3 of them together as one full video. So, if you want to be notified when those go up, I recommend subscribing to the channel. I also have plans of doing more of these with other animes like Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer as well. With that though, I think it's time to start editing part 2. Thanks for watching, see you later, bye!